Hey guys, I know I'm not the first one to talk to you all about a handgun that's made with a mid-length slide, compact slide, and a full-length grip, right? 17 rounds in it. Of course you all have heard about the... You thought I was going to say the 19X by Glock, right? The FN509. That's what we're talking about. Folks kind of lost their minds when Glock came out with the 19X, and especially in that peanut butter color that it came out in. They were like, this is revolutionary. They're reinventing perfection. They're re-perfecting perfection. All that good stuff. We heard it all, right? Glock was doing all this. Look, man, most of these guys that were submitting guns to that military pistol contract were doing the same thing with the same specs. They had a full-length grip and a mid-length slide. The FN509 is one of the nicer pistols in that group, and they did a lot to it. It's kind of based off of the old FNS system that they had, which was a beautiful gun and a very well-made gun. This gun did a little bit in terms of changing up as far as the slide. The slide has better serrations on it. You'll also notice that it's got a really nice Picatinny rail on the bottom. One thing I like about this is the sights. The sights are a good, tall, nice, heavy-edged metal sights, especially this rear sight here. The texturing is nice. I like how aggressive it is in the front and the back. It's a little bit milder on the sides. You'll notice it contours here right above the mag release. It's a little bit, the texturing is very, very mild right there, but you'll notice how the contour over the top of the mag release is really nice in terms of resting your thumb there. In other words, it almost forces you to get higher up on the grip to reduce that recoil. So even if you're not consciously trying to get your hand up, between the way the back strap is shaped and it forces your hand into the back and the way that that contouring is above the mag catch, you're going to automatically want to position your hand in the right position. You'll notice the trigger guard is extremely oversized for glove use. A little bit of an undercut on the trigger guard as well. That's nice, again, to enable you to get a little bit higher. The controls are nice because they are protected by this little ridge around here. So whenever you have your slide catch, you're not going to accidentally engage it if you don't want to, but it's very, very easy to get to in the event you are trying to release that slide. Now, speaking of the mag release, one of the things that I noticed about it was that it is guarded. This contouring of the frame definitely is guarding this mag release. And while the button itself is nice and large, the guard around it kind of takes away from that height of it. Now, I guess you could say the cave behind it is nice and big, so when you get on top of that button, it's not hard. I mean, you're going to definitely engage it. But if you're holding your gun regularly, you're either going to have to use your knuckle on your thumb, or you're going to have to make sure that the point of your thumb is pushed in there, because that guard around that is so well made so that you don't accidentally engage that button and drop your mag when you don't want to in a high stress situation. Because of that, you actually have to make sure that you're in a positive position in order to engage that. Not saying that's a negative thing, because I would much rather know that in a firefight that I'm not going to be one and done because I dropped my magazine accidentally. However, you do have to make sure that you do put in the time to train with this thing, because it is definitely going to, it's something you're going to have to learn to use. The sights do have that luminescent paint on them. This is not a tritium sight, so you're going to have to charge these things. A flashlight will do it, daylight, a light in a room will definitely charge it as well, but these are, again, not tritium sights where they are self-lighting sights. You're going to have to make sure that, that you give them a charge. So if you pull this thing out in the middle of the night sitting next to your bedstand, these sights are definitely not going to be lit up. Coal hammer forged barrel, I like that. Also like the fact that it's got a slight crowning on the front of it. For those of you that don't know, that's in the event you happen to drop your weapon muzzle down, and it does protect the rifling on the inside. It's not going to damage it and cause your bullet to go astray or anything like that. Those little mild crowns like that are not just for decoration, they are functional as well. Now you're wondering how it shoots. So am I. I've never fired this thing before. Let's give it a shot. As always, we're going to load up our Armscore 115 grain 9mm full metal jacket ammo. Again, due to consistency, I like to use it. The FN509 will come with these two magazines that you see here. Of course, these are 17 round magazines with an 18 capacity with the +1 capability. You will have this soft case that comes with it as well, along with a couple of different back straps that you can put on. I have I believe it's the medium that's on there now. It does seem to fit my hand fine, so that's the one that I'm going to be shooting with today. And if anybody is wondering what these godforsaken bugs are that are flying all around my head in front of the camera, If you are from Louisiana, especially South Louisiana, 2 times a year we are blessed with these little animals, these fine little creatures. They're called love bugs. We get them around Memorial Day and we get them around Labor Day. Apparently, these things like to party because they always hit us that time of year, and when they come, they're all over the place. These are some of the most annoying bugs in the world. They do not go away. Nothing kills them. Nothing eats them, except vehicles. Vehicles eat a lot of them, and they will ruin your paint job. Okay, we're set up here at 7 yards, typical engagement point for self-defense. We don't expect to miss at this point, but let's just at least start out right here and see how this thing does. Feels really good in the hand. Let me find a point on there since I did not paint this thing out. Looks like it shoots a little high, but it's shooting good though. Now the trigger is nice. When I say nice, I don't mean soft nice. I don't mean a very light trigger nice. This thing might be about 6 or 7 pounds when it breaks. What I mean by nice is it's a very definite and positive reset. When you fire this thing, your reset is very audible, very tactile, and there's very short reset, very little. Your take up is equally impressive. So when you take up, it's a very mild cushion that it's deliberate. It's a predictable cushion that you're taking up. Then you basically hit a tree. You run into where it's not mushy or anything like that. When you hit that point, you know that the next force that you exert is going to launch around down that muzzle. One thing that I would like to point out that not enough is made of when we look at a lot of these guns is that the markers on the back, I don't know if I can get this thing in focus, but you'll notice the markers on the back where the brass is actually visible through the holes. You can actually tell how many rounds are in here. Some of the, let's just say more popular guns out there, you know what I mean, have similar markers to this, but they're not representative of where the actual round is in the magazine. So you really can't tell. You can tell within 1 or 2 how many you have, but you can't tell exactly. These round markers, they line up perfectly on the back of this, and I like that because I do want to know exactly how many I have, not about how many I have. Well folks, I survived these godforsaken love bugs today. Hey man, this FN 509, this is a sweet little gun. I like the fact that they have that full capacity and you have that concealable slide in here. That's a nice touch if I want to carry this thing and I want to have maximum ammo capacity in here. And many times I do, you know, that's what I want. That was what the whole pitch of the Glock 19X was. You know, these guys got it too. The different type of, I guess you call it stippling and texturing that you have around the grip is nice. I feel that it gives you a nice firm grip. If you notice I shot with gloves, I have a tendency to shoot with gloves, not necessarily to keep the lead off my hands, but in many times to see how these guns function with gloves on, because you're losing a little bit of your feel. You're losing a little bit of that natural ability to know if a pistol is shifting in your hands or not. So I like to test them without gloves, but also with gloves to see how they work. Also, I want to make sure that my trigger guard is big enough to where I'm not having to shove my finger in there. I want to make sure I've got room to reset with a set of gloves on. So I did notice that this grip was really stable in my hand with gloves on. Very, very nice. I like that. I like that touch. I know if I can control it with gloves, then I'm definitely going to be able to control it with my skin on my hands, because again, I'm going to feel that shifting of the gun in my palm. Sights are nice. I felt like they were very easy to acquire. I also felt like they might have shot a little bit high, not terribly high, but a little bit high. Again, I'm not knocking them for that, because again, I realize who's behind the trigger. I never claimed to be the best shot out here. I have enough trigger time to know when sights tend to shoot a little bit high. I do like the position of the grip. I like everything about it. This is a nice gun. I have to believe that most of the guns submitted for that military pistol program were probably pretty good guns, because I've shot most of them to date, I believe. I haven't run my review on the Beretta yet, but I do have one and I will be running that. But of course I've shot the Glocks and the P320 and a number of other guns. So anyway, most of them are pretty good guns. Nobody turned in garbage. And this is one of them that I gotta say, FN, I've always been pleased with their guns. So this is a nice addition here to their whole repertoire that they have. And if you get a chance, shoot one. You know, you're gonna find them coming in at decent prices. I like the fact that a lot of these guns have a similar price point or a little bit lower. To me, that's palatable. A lot of these guns are real palatable what you can get them for. MSRP is never what you're gonna pay for them, so always look for them a little bit cheaper somewhere else. Usually your local gun shops is where you can find it. I wouldn't count on the academies and the big box stores. Definitely, we don't shop at Dick's anyway, so no need to look there. But look at your local mom and pop local gun shops. That's where you're going to find these things well below MSRP, and in many cases in abundance. They can get their hands on these things, so check them out.